December 9th, 2025, Buddhaghosacariya, chapter 7.7, Distinctions between different levels of Arya Pukala or Dakshinaya Pukala of noble beings. The first one, we have trainees, sekha and Arahants. The Venerable Sariputra said to Venerable Anuruddha, "Friend, Anuruddha, it is said, a sekha, a trainee. In what way, friend, is one a sekha, a trainee?" It is, friend, because one has partially developed the four foundation of mindfulness that one is a trainee. Friend Anuruddha, it is said, one beyond training. In what way, friend, is one beyond training? It is, friend, because one has completely developed the four foundation of mindfulness that one is beyond training. Bhikkhus, I do not say all bhikkhus, that they still have work to do with diligence in regard to the six base of contacts, ayatana. Or do I say that for all bhikkhus that they do not have work to do with diligence in regard to the six sense bases of for contact, ayatana. I do not say that those bhikkhus who are arahants, whose asavas, taints, are destroyed and are completely liberated through final knowledge, that they still have work to do with diligence in regard to the six bases for contact. Why is that? They have done their work with diligence. They are incapable of being negligent. But I say of those bhikkhus who are trainees, who have not attained arahatship, who dwell aspiring for the unsurpassed security from bondage, that they still have work to do with diligence in regard to the six bases for contacts. Why is that? There are bhikkhus, forms, sounds, etc., cognizable by the eye or the ear, etc., that are agreeable and those that are disagreeable. When these forms are experienced, they cannot obsess the mind of a bhikkhu who is heedful. When the mind is not obsessed, tireless energy aroused, unmuddied mindfulness is established. The body becomes tranquil and untroubled. The mind becomes concentrated at one point. Seeing the fruit of diligence, bhikkhus, I say that those bhikkhus still have work to do with diligence in regard to the six bases for contacts. Bhikkhus, there is a method by means of which a bhikkhu who is a trainee, standing on the plane of a trainee, must understand, I am a trainee. When a bhikkhu who is one beyond training, standing on the place of one beyond training, might understand, I am one beyond training. Here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu who is a trainee understands as it really is. This is dukkha. This is the origin of dukkha. This is the cessation of dukkha. This is the way leading to the cessation of dukkha. This is the method by means of which a bhikkhu who is a trainee, standing on the plane of a trainee, understands, I am a trainee. Again, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu who is a trainee considers thus, is there outside the Gautama Buddha's dispensation another ascetic or Brahmin who teaches the eternal law of Dhamma, so real, so true, so certain? As the Blessed One does, he understands thus, there is no other ascetic or Brahmin outside Gautama Buddha's dispensation who teaches the eternal law of Dhamma, so real, so true, so certain, as the Blessed One does. This too is the method by means of which a bhikkhu who is a trainee, standing on the plane of a trainee, understands, I am a trainee. Again, bhikkhus, A bhikkhu who is a trainee understands the 5 spiritual faculties, the faculties of faith, the faculty of energy, the faculty of mindfulness, the faculty of concentration, and the faculty of wisdom. He does not yet dwell, having contacted with the mental body, their destination, their culmination, their fruit, their final goal. Yet he sees with penetrative wisdom. This too is the method by means of which a bhikkhu who is a trainee, standing on the plane of a trainee, understands, I am a trainee. Here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu who is one beyond training, understands the 5 spiritual faculties, the faculties of faith, the faculties of wisdom. He dwells, having contacted with the mental body, their destination, their accumulation, their fruit, their final goal. He sees with a penetrative wisdom. This is the method by means of which a bhikkhu who has one gone beyond training stands on the plane of one beyond training, understands, I am one beyond training. Again, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu who is one beyond training understands the 6 faculties, the eye faculty, the ear faculty, the nose faculty, the tongue faculty, the body faculty, the mind faculty. He understands these faculties would cease completely and totally without remainder. And no other 6 faculties will arise anywhere in any way. This too is a method by means of which a bhikkhu who is one beyond training, standing on the plane of one beyond training, understands, I am one beyond training. So, Indriya and Ayatana. Sariputra, a person sees as it really is with correct wisdom. This has come to be. Having seen thus, one is practicing for the purpose of disenchantment and dispassion towards what has come to be. For its cessation, one sees as it really is with correct wisdom. Its origination occurs with that as nutriment. Having seen thus, one is practicing for the purpose of disenchantment and dispassion towards its origination through nutriment. For its cessation, one sees as it really is with correct wisdom. With the cessation of nutriment, what has come to be is subject to cessation. Having seen thus, one is practicing for the purpose of disenchantment and dispassion towards what is subject for cessation. For its cessation, it is in such a way that one is a trainee. Sariputra, how has one fully examined the Dhamma? A person sees as it really is with correct wisdom. This has come to be. Having seen thus, through disenchantment and dispassion towards what has come to be. Through cessation, one is liberated by non-clinging. One sees as it really is with correct wisdom. Its origination occurs with that as nutriment. Having seen thus, through disenchantment and dispassion towards what has come to be, through its cessation, one is liberated by non-clinging. One sees as it really is with correct wisdom. With the cessation of nutriment, what has come to be is subject to cessation. Having seen thus, through disenchantment and dispassion towards what has come to be, through its cessation, one is liberated by non-clinging. It is in such a way that one has fully examined the Dhamma. And what Mahanama is a trainee's wisdom? A monk in this Dhamma and discipline understands as it truly is. This is dukkha. This is the origin of dukkha. This is cessation of dukkha. This is the way leading to the cessation of dukkha. This is the trainee's wisdom. Now, Mahanama, the noble disciple is endowed with morality, concentration, and wisdom by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now, enters upon and abides in deliverance of mind, deliverance by wisdom, and that are taintless, with the destruction of taints. Here are several more important passages discussing trainees from those beyond training. Here, he is under training, Bhikkhu. That is why he is called a trainee. What does he train in? He trains in the higher virtue, the higher mind, the higher wisdom. Here, Bhikkhu, one possesses a trainee's right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. It is in this way that one is a trainee. Here, Bhikkhu, one possesses the right view, right intentions, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration of one beyond training. It is in this way that one is beyond training. Now, in this describes the difference between a trainee's abiding of the Tathagata's abiding. Trainees dwell having incompletely abandoned the 5 hindrances, while Arahants have completely eliminated the 5 hindrances. The Atidhamma for the Dipitaka makes this distinction. The 4 Magga Sammaki and the 3 Pala Sammaki are sekha, Arahants are asekha, and the remainder are neither trainees nor beyond training. Let's highlight those practicing for stream entries and stream enters. So one that is preparing to be a sotapanna and one who has entered as a sotapanna or realized sotapanna-ship. Monks, the eye is impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. The ear, the nose, the mind, the 12 sense spheres, the 6 forms of consciousness, the 6 contacts, the 6 feelings, 6 perceptions, 6 volitions, 6 forms of craving, the 6 elements, and the 5 skandhas is impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. One who places faith in those teachings and resolves on them thus is called a faith follower. One who has entered the fixed course of righteousness, entered the plane of superior persons, transcended the plane of the worldlings. He is incapable of doing any deed by reason of which he might be reborn in the hellish realm, in an animal realm, or in the domain of a ghost, a bed. He is incapable of passing away without having realized the fruit of a sotapanna, a stream entry. One for whom these teachings are accepted, thus being pondered to a sufficient degree with wisdom, is called the Dhamma follower. One who has entered the fixed course of righteousness, he is incapable of passing away without realizing the fruit of stream entry, a sotapanna. One who knows and sees the teaching, thus is called a sotapanna, no longer bound to the world, fixed in destiny, with enlightenment as his destination. Highlighting stream enterers and Arahants. When bhikkhus, a noble disciple, understands as they really are, the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of the 5 skandha, subject to clinging. Then he is called a noble disciple who is a stream enterer, no longer bound to the netherworld, fixed in destiny with enlightenment as his destination. When bhikkhus haven't understood that they really are the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of these 5 skandhas, subject to clinging, a bhikkhu is liberated by non-clinging. Then he is called a bhikkhu who is an arihant, who has all the asavas, the taints, are destroyed, who has lived a holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached his own goal, utterly destroyed the fetters of existence, one completely liberated through final knowledge. Agivesana. In what way is a disciple of the recluse Gotama, one who carries out his instruction, who responds to his advice, who has crossed beyond doubt, become free from perplexity, gain intrepidity, and become independent of others in the teacher's dispensation? Gautama Buddha, here Agivesana, any kind of material form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, consciousness, whatever, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, far or near, a disciple of mine sees all material form as it actually is with proper wisdom. Thus, this is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. It is in this way that a disciple of mine is one who carries out my instruction, who responds to my advice, who has crossed beyond doubt, become free from perplexity, gain intrepidity, and become independent of others in the teacher's dispensation. Master Gautama, in what way a bhikkhu, an arahant, with taints destroyed and completely liberated through final knowledge? Here, agivesana, any kind of material form, feeling, etc. Whatever a bhikkhu has seen, all material form, feeling, etc., as it actually is with proper wisdom, thus, this is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. And through non-clinging, he is liberated. It is said in this way that a bhikkhu is an arahant with taints destroyed and is completely liberated through final knowledge. Highlighting non-returners and arahants. Venerable Narada says, friend Savitra, apart from faith, apart from personal preference, apart from oral tradition, apart from reasoned reflection, apart from conforming to personal opinion, I know this, I see this. With the cessation of birth comes the cessation of aging and death. With the cessation of ignorance comes cessation of volitional formation. I know this, I see. Nibbida is the cessation of existence. Venerable Savitra says, when the Venerable Narada is an arahant, one whose taints are destroyed, friend, though I have clearly seen as it really is with correct wisdom, Nibbida is the cessation of existence. I am not an arahant whose one's taints are destroyed. Suppose, friends, that there will be along a desert road, but had neither a rope nor a bucket. Then a man will come along, oppressed, afflicted by the heat, tired, parched, and thirsty. He will look down into the well, and the knowledge would occur to him, there is water. But he would not be able to make bodily contact with it. So too, friend, though I have clearly seen as it really is with correct wisdom, Nibbida is the cessation of existence. I am not an arahant, one whose taints are destroyed. Venerable Khimaka talks to the elder monks. Among these 5 skandha, the 5 aggregates subject to clinging, upatana, I do not regard anything as self or as belonging to self. One of the elder bhikkhus replies, if Venerable Khimaka does not regard anything among the 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates, subject to upatana, clinging as self, atta, or belonging to the self, atta, then he is an arahant, one whose taints are destroyed, one who's destroyed all asavas. Khimaka replies, I do not regard anything among the 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates subject to upatana, clinging as atta, self, or belonging to atta, self, yet I am not an arahant, whose one's asavas are destroyed, whose destroyed taints. Friends, I still experience the notion I am. In me, the relationship to these 5 skandhas subject to upatana, clinging, but I do not regard anything among them as this is I am. Venerable Dasaka speaks, when you speak of this I am, what is it that you speak as I am? Do you speak as rupa, form as I am? Do you speak as I am apart from rupa, I am? Do you speak of vedana, feeling, of sanya, perception, of sankhara, volitional formation, of vijnana, consciousness, as I am? Or do you speak of I am apart from vijnana, apart from consciousness? Or do you speak of this I am? Friend, Kimmaka, what is that you speak as I am? Kimmaka replies, I do not speak of the form, rupa, as I am, nor do I speak of I am apart from rupa, form. I do not speak of feeling, vedana, as I am, nor of sanya, as I am, nor as sankhara, as I am, nor of vijnana, as I am. Nor do I speak of I am apart from vijnana. Friend, although I still experience the notion I am in me in relation to these 5 skandha, the 5 aggregates, subject to upatana, clinging, I do not regard anything among them as this I am. Suppose, friend, there is a scent of blue or red or white lotus. Would one be speaking rightly if one would say the scent belongs to the petals, or the scent belongs to the color, or the scent belongs to the pestles? Dasaka replied, no, friend. Kimmaka asks, and how, friend, should one answer if one is to answer rightly? Dasaka answers, answering rightly, one should answer, the scent belongs to the flower. Kimmaka continues, so too, friend, I do not speak of rupa as form, as I am, nor do I speak of I am apart from form, nor do I speak of I am apart from consciousness, friend, although I still experience the action, the notion, I am in me, in relation to the 5 skandha, the 5 aggregates subject to upatana, to clinging. I do not regard anything among them as this I am. Friends, even though a noble disciple has abandoned the 5 lower fetters, still in relation to the 5 skandha, the 5 aggregates, subject to upatana, to clinging, there lingers in him residue conceit, I am, a desire, I am, a underlying tendency, I am, that I have not yet been uprooted. Sometime later, he dwells contemplating rise and fall. In the 5 skandha, the 5 aggregates subject to upatana, clinging, such as rupa, form, such as origin, such is the passing away, such is vedana, such is sanya, such is sankhara, such is vijnana, such is origin, such is passing away. As he dwells thus contemplating rise and fall in the 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates subject to clinging, the residue conceit, I am, the desire, I am, the underlying tendency, I am, that has not yet been uprooted. This comes to be uprooted. Suppose, friends, a cloth has been soiled and stained. Its owners gives it to the laundryman. The laundryman would scour it evenly with cleaning salt, lye, or cow dung. Rinse it and clean with clean water. Even though that cloth would be pure and clean, it would still remain a residue smell of cleaning salt, lye, cow dung that had not yet vanished. The laundryman would give it back to the owners. The owners would put it in a sweet scented casket and residue smell of the cleaning salt lyle, or cow dung has not yet vanished, would vanish, so too, friends, the residue conceit comes to be uprooted. Highlighting Arahants liberated by wisdom and Arahants liberated by both ways. Remember, when we spoke about, there were two types of Arahat. One Arahat was a Panya Vimutti. The other Arahat is a Sita Vimutti. And the easiest explanation for Dhamma followers or practitioners is Venerable Sariputra is a Panya Vimutti. Venerable Mahamoggallana is a Sita Vimutti. And these are the two foremost disciples that sits on the right and the left side of the Venerable Gautama, the Tathagata. Now, Ananda, insofar as a monk, having known as they really are, the 7 stations of consciousness in the 2 spheres. It is great to note here the 7 stations of consciousness, Vijnana Titi. Briefly, beings different in both body and perception. Beings different in body but equal in perception. Beings equal in body but different in perception. Beings equal in body and in perception. Beings in the sphere of boundless space. Beings in the sphere of boundless consciousness. Beings in the sphere of nothingness. Now, the 2 spheres they have is ayatana. The first one is asanya sata ayatana, realm of non-perceptive beings. And the second one is neva sanyana sa asyasana, realms of neither perception nor non-perception. The 7 stations of consciousness in the 2 spheres are something combined as the 9 abode of beings, sata avasa. The reference here is to the station of consciousness of 2 spheres. It's merely one way of teaching. It would be equally valid to substitute the 5 skandhas, which would cover the same subject. Now, the origin and the cessation. Their gratification, their danger, and their escape. That monk, Ananta, is liberated by non-clinging and is called one who is liberated by wisdom. Ananda, when a monk attains these 8 liberation, vimokkha, in forward order, in reverse order, and in forward and reverse, loma and anuloma, order, entering them, emerging from them as and when and for as long as he wishes, and by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now enters upon and abides in deliverance of the mind, deliverance by panya, wisdom, that are taintless with destruction of taints. That monk is called one liberated both in both ways. We discussed that earlier about the 8 liberations, the vimokkha. Highlighting Gautama Buddha and those liberated by wisdom. Bhikkhus, the Tathagata, the Arahat, the perfectly enlightened one, is liberated by disenchantment, by dispassion, by cessation, by non-clinging towards form, feeling, perception, volitional formations, and consciousness, and is therefore called perfectly enlightened one. So too, a bhikkhu liberated by wisdom is liberated by disenchantment, by dispassion, by cessation, by non-clinging towards form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, consciousness, and therefore called one liberated by wisdom. Therein, bhikkhus, what is the distinction? What is this disparity? What is the difference between the Tathagata, the Arahat, and the perfectly enlightened one, and a bhikkhu liberated by wisdom? The Tathagata bhikkhus, the Arahat, the perfectly enlightened one, is the originator on the path, Magga, as yet unarisen, the producer of the past, as yet unproduced, the declarer of the path, as yet undeclared. He is the knower of the path, the one adept, not a neophyte, the one adept in the path, the one skilled in the path. And his disciples now dwell following that path and become joined with it afterwards. This, bhikkhus, is the difference between the Tathagata, the Arahat, the perfectly enlightened one, and the bhikkhu liberated by wisdom.